All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Resilience Podcast. Today, we got a really special guest, someone that I've known for 15 to 20 years. I think was the first time we ever met. Really good family friend, really good brother, also a member at Resilience. Welcome, Miguel.
Yes.
Let's go, baby. So
I'm just trying to think, 15, 20 years?
Yeah. Probably 20 years, man.
Yeah.
I was in high school, grade 10 when I met you.
You were in high school, that's right.
And you were like a big brother to me.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet? I don't even know this story. I
think I have an idea, but we met through my sister.
Yeah.
The church that my sister was going to, Miguel, and really his band of brothers were kind of like, you know, in many ways the leaders there and guys who just went around kind of really lifting up people around the community. And you know, these guys got a hold of me and really impacted me when I was in high school. I'll never forget that.
She was a server at a restaurant we were eating at.
Yeah.
And she was awesome.
Yeah.
She was awesome. And we're just like, you're amazing, you know? And we just started just lifting her up and we connected with her. And then that's how we met you.
Yeah.
And then you know what I was thinking about the other day? Your friend is, who's the basketball guy that's your friend?
Matt Cole.
Matt Cole.
Yeah.
You know
good,
Matt?
a good friend of both of us.
Well, you put us on to Matt Cole.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
He started
I do.
playing men's league basketball with us.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I just
Amazing guy,
remembered
amazing
that.
guy, yeah.
I just remembered that.
Cole is
Amazing
I love
guy.
Matt Cole.
Yeah.
Because now that I'm like, I see you so often, I was just thinking, wait a sec, didn't he put us on to one of his friends?
Yeah, man.
And I was meaning to
And
ask
he's a baller. He's a baller.
He's a baller, yeah.
He's a baller.
What is he doing now?
He's still
He's-
coaching basketball and
he
teaching at a
coaches.
school. Yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah, he's
Nice.
teaching and coaching. He's in the Puma scene. He's like a big on that basketball lane of like
Really?
Yeah, the Adidas, Nike
Yeah, the
circuit,
circuits.
Puma,
Yeah.
So he's on the Puma circuit right now. I always love hearing the stories about that because that's like a whole different world.
So he's heavily into that. I should connect with him.
Yeah, he's
Very
doing his
into
thing.
it,
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
in Lindsay right now.
That's where he lives?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys should connect.
But he commutes all the way back to the city in Thornhill for teaching.
Well, he
Yeah, for
teaches
school.
in Thornhill, but okay.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
So we reconnected recently, probably about a year ago, when we opened Resilience in Durham.
Correct.
And we connected.
Yes.
And you brought your boys in for the workouts and
That's
your
right.
wife, and it's just been amazing having you guys
That's
there.
right, yeah.
But we were like, man, we should get Miguel on the podcast because there's so many amazing kind of fields and directions that you have experienced in life.
Yeah.
And, you know, Josh and I love entrepreneurship. We love leadership. We love learning. We love team building.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we'd have you on and really just chop it up with you. So
Let's get it.
we're gonna jump right into it, man.
Yeah.
You're an entrepreneur through and through.
Yeah.
I mean, has it been like that your whole life? And where are you at today with that?
Yes, it has been like that my whole life. So for as long as I can remember, as high school, whatever, I've always been hustling. You know what I mean? Like just trying to make a buck, trying to do something cool, trying to do something different. I always saw opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know, I have some cool, funny stories. I remember one thing we did was like we one of the guys, Kevin. Do you remember Kevin?
I think so.
Kevin
yeah.
went to
yeah.
Mexico,
Yeah.
an orphanage out there. So we started Tropical Breeze,
Okay.
which was our landscaping company. That, you know,
It's a great name.
the whole idea was we're gonna come like with like nice Miami shirts and like hats and that failed, you know, but it was a great experience. But we were making things up as we went. Like we just ring doorbells and we can cut your grass, or they'd take us into their backyard and it's full of dandelions, and Kevin's like making things up on the spot. He's like, oh, this is a red zone. This is a red zone. And they're like, red zone. We're like, yeah, you got to take care of this now.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and like not even having a truck, using my mom's minivan, like crazy stuff. So yeah, always one thing I remember. And then Anthony McLean.
Yes.
Another good
Shout
one of
out to
our-
Anthony.
a good
Maybe
brother
one
of
day he'll
ours.
watch this.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
His older brother, Andrew,
Yeah.
he moved to Miami, I remember, and I wanted to visit him. And we all are kind of a few of us wanted to visit him, our group of friends. And he we didn't have money. So I somehow convinced a gas station to, you know how they would do car washes for sports teams and stuff, but you had to be like a charity or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, our brother's in Miami. We got to go see him. And we did a car wash and
Made some money.
made some money.
The hustle's real.
So always
hustle is real.
hustling. Always
I
hustling.
was talking to Dalton and he told me that your dad was heavily into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Is that kind of where you learned it?
Yes, my dad was always into that. Always trying to bringing shipping products from China. You know what I mean? Like for cheap and then selling it. Like, yeah, he's always been doing that.
Is it fair to say that entrepreneurship is multifaceted at all times? There's so many different avenues
Yeah.
that you constantly have to be exploring, experimenting with, and trying.
Yeah. I mean, 1,000%. Like there's so many elements to it, right? Like from the idea, conception to execution to planning. So 1,000%. Yeah. Definitely multifaceted. You guys are entrepreneurs. Look what you're doing. You know, I mean, yeah, 1,000%.
We've tried a lot of things within resilience, and a lot of things have failed.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of things have missed the mark, but it's refined what works today.
And I love that because we don't see that. And that's part of it. Because everyone shows the highlight reel. We don't see that.
Come on.
What I see is a success. What I see is an amazing product, which is, but now you're saying failed,
Yeah.
roadblocks, speed bumps along the way. But you're coming and saying all this, but what we see is, man, you guys got it going on. There's struggles, man. There's struggles.
This is why the podcast is such a joy, because we get to, be transparent about these things.
Yeah.
Which is true. I think it inspires people and each other when we're having these conversations,
1,000%.
So
Go on.
So today, you're still an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What are you up to today?
So I'm in the entertainment industry, right? Mainly. And so what I do, a couple things, but mainly it's consulting, right? So consulting focusing on marketing and promo. So brands, artists, personalities, they'll reach out, they'll say, here's our product. We want to get it out there. So your network is your net worth.
Right.
Okay. Little nugget there. Your network is your net worth. And I've built a strong network. So now what I do is I'm like, okay, I take the product, I meet with the client. I'm like, hey, what's the vision? What are you trying to do? Whatever. And then I just, okay, here's my idea. I come back with a proposal. Like, here's what I think.
Yeah.
And so the kind of our tagline is from conception to execution, right? So from the idea and we'll see it right through. Everything from planning the campaign to partnerships with other brands or talent or celebrities or whatever, So that in short, that's basically what it is. And again, it could be anything from a business to an artist, a singer that has a single that wants to release, but they want to make sure that the single gets heard and gets, further traction. So I'll listen to the song, I'll meet with the artist, and figure that whole piece out,
It's kind of like an actor getting into a role, like fully embracing the role that they're playing and understanding all the different surroundings about that person. And then
Correct.
So you have to actually come into the brand,
Yeah.
learn everything about it,
Yes.
and then creatively implement something.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like a war room. It's like
It's great, man. It's fun. I love it. It's creative. It's never the same. That's what I like about it. It's always a challenge. It's always new, right? It's not like a cookie cutter thing because one brand could be literally anything. It could be a gym, right? And then it could be a singer.
Yeah.
Could be I just recently I was in Miami. I had a meeting and I found out later that it was a weed brand, right? And did you know they have weed drinks? Did you know this?
No.
I knew that. Yeah.
You knew that? I didn't know that.
Wow.
I'm like, I know cannabis is huge and this and that, but they actually have it in
Yeah.
drinks. And
They have it in lotion. They have it in everything.
I'm like, wow. Yeah. Anyways, it was news to me, but it's like literally, it could be anything. So there's some things that stay the same, right? There's certain principles that stay the same, but again, the approach is always going to be different.
Every day is different.
Yeah. So it's cool.
Miguel, how did you get into the music industry? How did you break into there, or like how did that start? Because I wouldn't even begin to think of how you got to where you are. So where did that start?
Yeah, I mean, it actually started in film and TV. Right. So that's why I say entertainment. It's just music has now been like it's what's more in the forefront, but it's always been all things entertainment. So film, TV, theater. So I started acting many, many years ago. Yeah, just like got an agent, you know, did the thing. You know what I mean? Like wanted to be an actor. So took some classes, took a bunch of classes with Dalton.
This is like high school time. Like what age?
This is coming out of high school, coming out of college.
Okay.
Coming out of college. But I've always been doing it in high school. I was in the school plays. I was torn actually. I was torn because I was a basketball guy. And I mean, I can't be in the school play. Like, it's just not cool enough, right? So dumb.
So you're an artist,
so dumb, right?
musician, athlete, all of it.
So I would walk by like the theater club with my basketball guys, and we'd be like laughing at them, but I'd be like,
kind of curious about that.
Kind of intrigued. I'm drawn to that.
But forget those guys. But look at me now. That's all I do. You know what I mean? Like, so I've always had an interest in. I always loved, you know, being in that entertainment space, right? So then I said, and once again, shout out Anthony McLean. He was always an actor. And he kind of pushed me along to get into it, and so I got an agent, took the classes, and started acting.
Just curious, what is it about acting that draws you in?
Great question. So one of my I love being transparent, and I love sharing weaknesses. That's how we grow, and that's how people grow. One of my weaknesses, I want to do everything. Okay. So what do they say? Jack of all trades, master of none, right? Yeah. So I think I want to do this, I want to do that. I got this idea, I want to do all that. You can't, right? Like, unfortunately, you can't, right? Like, you know, you could do multiple things for sure, but as an actor, I can be a cop. I can be a lawyer. I can be a pilot. I can be a gangster. I can do it all. So I always loved that. I love that I get to play all these different things. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I love that.
Yeah. I like, for example, I've always said, I want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a lawyer. Okay. I hate school personally. I'm not against school. It just wasn't for me. So I don't want to spend years and years in school. It's not for me, but I love lawyers when they're in doing their thing. And I'm like, I can do that. So if I just get a role as a lawyer, then I get to do that.
Yes.
So there you go. And hold on. I don't know if I actually like lawyers. Because everything I learned from lawyers has been on TV or in movies, and I like that. So it's like, I want to do that.
Is that the real thing?
Exactly. It's probably not that. Listen, full transparency, I've been to court a couple times when I was younger, and the lawyers don't look like on TV. So it's actually not the lawyer that I want to be. I want to be the actor portraying a lawyer.
The character.
There you go. So that's why I just loved playing characters and doing different things, you know?
Love that.
And then it translated to, but I've always been musical too, right? I've always from family as well. My dad, I've just always loved music. You know, we'd be freestyling in the hallways at school, trying to rap and, all that stuff, right? And I've just loved music and the industry. So as I grew in acting, film and TV and theater and all that stuff, it just took me, I just got into music.
How did it transfer into the consulting role from like acting and stuff like that? How did you get transferred into that?
That's a good question too. So, in music, when I got into music, I quickly, not even just music, when I got into the arts, I quickly, because I have different skill sets that I guess some talent don't have, or it's not common with talent. But I can wear that hat, which is a hat that most artists need, which is management, development.
Is that something you were aware of like very early? Like, hey, I could do this, and maybe like I'm actually like I have these skill sets, and that.
I was aware of it. Yeah, I was aware of it because I've always been that guy. Like whether it's student council president in school, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I've always known that I can communicate well and I can be in different rooms and hold my own. Yeah. So artists identified that quickly. And here's another one of my not downfalls, but things that kind of derailed me from my own passion is I got pulled in a lot of different directions in this industry from artists, because I can help them, and I know I can, and they know I can, and I wanted to, and so I started doing that. I started helping a lot of artists, and maybe not focusing so much on my own art. But I'm not saying, because I liked it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I genuinely, if I was able to take an artist and get that artist to where they need to be, or in the right direction, or connected to someone that's going to take them to the next level, like that gave me real joy as well.
It's very similar to coaching.
Yes.
Just thinking,
yes.
like coming as a football player, now that is over for me. And now I'm coaching others. So I'm able to identify certain things in athletes in my class and say, this is something. So what is it that when you're actually coaching an artist, it's called coaching, how do you identify what it is that they need?
Wow. Well, first I listen to them. So in all this stuff, like I said, I meet with them first, right? Usually it's them reaching out to me.
Okay.
So I'm not like, I'm not, which I mean, I have done, but it's not I'm not like like a scout. I'm not like scouring for talents.
Right.
They find me and they reach out. Hey, Miguel, so we meet. And then the first thing I do is, like I said, I sit down, I listen, what are you looking for? What are you at? Or, and I'll do like a kind of a deep dive on their career.
Yeah.
And very quickly, it's very easy for me to answer your question. It's very easy to identify what they need. And usually it's based on, in this case, when I'm dealing with artists, it's usually they just need structure, But just to answer your question, it's just a consultation. It's just a consult. You meet with them. And just same thing with fitness, right? Like, what are your goals?
Totally.
Right. What are your goals? Okay, let's sit down. What are your goals? What are your habits? What are your addictions? Let's get really real here. What have you struggled with since you were 15? You're always on the roller coaster. Let's attack. And then
So you go deep in there.
Yeah.
You have to, right?
You have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
Are people open to that usually? They're
Yeah.
pretty open?
Yeah. Artists are beautiful, man. They're creatives and they're emotional and they're open. They're very open with they have to be, man. Like, so, but it's great, man. You go deep and you figure it out, But again, most of the time there's times I've dealt with artists that do have some serious issues that need the therapy and counseling and prayer and all that stuff. But a lot of time it's just structure. You know what I mean? It's just structure. And this is across the board. It's not just artists. It's anything, man. It's, everyone's got ideas. Everyone has the next best idea. Man, I can't tell you how many ideas, I'm coming to a point now, honestly, like because of who I'm connected to and, the business people I'm involved with and social media, man, it shows you everything, right? So people see that and they think like a lot of my days, I don't know anymore, but I would have to filter through people asking things of me or can you connect, hey, so-and-so, Andrew and Josh, like, I'm like, listen, you know what I mean? Like, so, I have this idea. Everyone has an idea, right?
Yeah.
So it's just structuring it,
I love that. We need structure. That's what we're working on right now in our business.
I like that what you said though. I think it's so interesting. The whole when I was thinking about your job and I was thinking about the consulting, I was thinking like so much strategy, but you really deal with the person, which is like the motivator of everything. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's again, and it's definitely strategy, and you have to get down to it and come out with, the big, I always break, here's the end goal, this is what we want, but here's the other thing, right? Like, and this is what I talk to with a lot of the people I deal with, and you're right, you're bang on. It's coaching. That's what it is. My Instagram profile says Coach K, right? My last name's Khan, right? I because that's what I am, and I take it very, very serious. I think coaching is not something you do. It's something that you are.
Come on, it's
right?
so true.
It's a calling. It's a mantle, and it's to be taken very seriously. And so whether that's coaching sports or business, whatever, you're coaching people, and again, I take it very, very serious. You know, that's why when I see coaches in youth sports and they're not doing, you know, and I'm not quick to judge because a lot of these people are volunteering their time, right? And they too know that they're not qualified. You know what I mean? So I thank you first of all, but also tread lightly. Like if it's not for you, don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're gonna do damage.
Right.
I've seen it, and I'm sure you have. You guys are athletes.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not cool. So, anyways, I had a thought. So I forgot, but let's keep going.
We're just talking about coaching and how it's a mantle. I love that word.
Yeah.
And it's something that is natural, comes natural. You can refine your skills, but you got to have a desire to see this person break through.
Yes.
You know, you got to really, and that allows you to extend grace to the person that you're coaching.
Yeah.
It allows you to motivate them. It allows you to push them. It's like you're diving into this person's heart.
Yeah.
And then bringing out what it is that they want to bring out, but they just can't by themselves.
That's right. They need help, and we all do. And I never remembered my thought, and it's on that right there, right? Like when I meet with someone, you know, I always ask, "What do you want?" Right? I feel like that's the core question. What do you want? Right? Because if you can answer that, some people we don't know what we want, and as a father, it's man, that's what's spoken to me the most, especially in this question, what I'm about to say. Like, and you guys know my boys. If Mateo and Leandro didn't want anything, that would kill me. That would crush me. If they had imagine they just had no passions, no dreams, and they just sat at home all day, and it's like, that would, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but on the flip side, when they say, "Dad, I want this," I'll go to any length. If I have no money, I'll get them the shoes they need. Because when you know what you want, man, now the floodgates can open. And the alchemist, the universe, you know, conspires in your favor, and God, like, will bless that. Like, but if you're just like, I don't know what I want, right? Then you're just going to coast along in life. So the core question is, what do you want? Okay, I want this. Perfect. Now, how are you going to get it? And when I coach basketball, I always tell the athletes, like, you know, we want to win a championship. I go, well, and I say, that's not a great goal. Something to aspire to, but it's not a great goal. Why? Because you don't have control over that, right? Like, there's too many factors that are out of your control. So you can't say that like, there's referees in the way. There's hundreds of other teams in the way. My thing is, let's set goals that you have complete control over.
Show up to practice every day.
Exactly. Be the best you can be.
Encourager to your teammates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you have full control over that. And then if you don't reach that, then you can go back and do I skipped practice 6 times this year. Yeah. I remember when we were supposed to do the lines. I looked at the coach and he wasn't looking, so I stopped right before. Right. And now you can hold yourself accountable and say, okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So interesting you're saying that. I think this is what me and Andrew have been like talking for our business, like talking about for the last maybe 2 months, is like what we've been talking a lot about. What is it actually that we want? What are we specifically going for? And like when you were kind of helping out other people and you're like, I want to help them, but I don't know if I should. I was dragged in all different directions. It can be like, sometimes you can get pulled in different ways if you don't know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so I'm starting to understand. Lots of opportunities are always coming up.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be in touch with what you want. So
and then get razor sharp focus with it.
Yeah.
You know, especially today.
Oh man,
social media, phones, access. Like it's just too much, man. It's too much. And you know. And I especially with me, like in being in the entertainment space, like I'm on social media a lot. Like, you know, you have to be posting a lot and you know, but I really try to balance it out because we're just not meant to see all this information all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta stay
like,
focused. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not supposed to know everything about both of you. I'm supposed to just see you once every couple months and we catch up. But if I've seen people that I haven't seen in years, And the reaction is just no. The reaction's like, what's up? Because we just know everything. Yeah, I saw that. I see you're doing that. I saw that. And, it's just like you know what I mean? I don't think we were made to know all this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Or to consume this much information.
Yeah.
Like you're just scrolling through videos. You watch
It's too much, man. It's too much. And hey, look, we all do it, man. We get caught up, and so you have to be diligent, man. You got to be diligent setting those boundaries, and And also, I do want to say that I have cheated the line when you guys weren't looking. I just want to go back to that.
I'm gonna keep my eyes
Okay, all right.
all around. You mentioned your boys, and it's been great having them at Resilience. But fatherhood is definitely a big part of this podcast. It's huge. We talk about fatherhood a lot. I mean, I'm a dad of a 5 and 3-year-old, and it's changed so many things about me. So many things about how I think.
Give me one
my
example.
emotions, patience and grace.
Huh.
Patience and grace, and it's actually had a full, it's fully parallel how I coach people now. Whereas maybe I was a bit more rigid. I still have that intensity, but I have grace to this person's at a different place than this person. I gotta kind of get, like you're saying, get into who are they?
Yeah.
What do they want? And
Yeah.
I think that's grace, is slowing down and understanding that this person in front of me is different than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That to me is grace. It's understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's easy to judge, right?
Yeah.
Be like, this person should be here, but no. Grace kind of allows you to be patient and find out more about this person.
Yeah.
So I'm growing in that because of my kids, right? Big time. And I know Josh, he's a new dad too. So we talk about fatherhood.
How many
so
kids do
much.
you have, Josh?
Just one.
Just one.
He's 15 months. Very young.
Oh wow, so
Yeah.
brand new.
We talk about it a lot because we both had our kids in the spectrum of resilience, and we kind of embraced this new role as a father while we're building this business.
Yeah.
So having your two boys now, they're 18 and 16, right?
Yeah, he'll be 18 in
That's
July.
why.
Yeah.
Talk to us about fatherhood for 2 minutes. The biggest lessons you've learned about fatherhood. I love asking this question.
Great question.
Because it's a massive question to me, Josh. Big question.
And a lot of
What
the
have you learned
audience,
in fatherhood?
And I only have 2 minutes, right? First of all, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. And I mean, we've all heard it. They say it all the time. There's no manual to parenting. You just, here you go. Here's a kid and go home and figure it out. So I would say, to people who don't have kids yet, or even young parents, work on yourself. Okay. So I don't want to give a cliche answer, because I could say patience and grace too. Like, those are two major things, but I want to go a little deeper and say to be intentional and actively work on yourself, because we have trauma and we have wounds that haven't been healed that we just went along with. And you don't want to be putting that on your kids. And I've seen it even with me and my kids. Man, these guys are making me tear up right now. I can't believe you guys did this. Like, no, for real though. Like, let's just go back to coaching. Like, man, I've done, I just came off saying that coaching is a responsibility and it's a mantle and it's something that you are, not something that you do. And I know I'm a coach through and through. I know that is I know that God has created me and put that mantle on my life. And I also know that if I've done any damage to my kids, it was through coaching them, which hurts, because this is something that I'm supposed to do and do well. And I've done it well I could show you parent reviews. I've coached hundreds of kids in basketball, and I could show you parent reviews. Miguel, Coach Miguel, you're the best. My kid, Coach Miguel. And I've done damage to my own kids, when coaching them, because I coach them too. So the idea is that and then, why am I acting out like this? Like what's the deeper root? And then it's not just in coaching, it's in when they're doing their homework and they're not getting it done properly and they're not doing their chores. And all of a sudden you're yelling and it's like, where's this venom coming from? Cause he got a bad grade. Like, do you remember your grades? Oh, wait a sec. Do you remember how you got treated when you got bad? Oh, wait a sec. I'm just repeating a cycle here. So that's my thing. Be intentional. And this is not just parenting. This is life, man. Like, if you want to be all that you can be and all that you were created to be and destined to do, then actively and intentionally work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you're holding yourself back, you versus you, right? We're holding ourselves back because we just think that time will heal. This is the third shout out to Anthony McLean. He has a line in one of his raps that Anthony used to rap. Like, people don't know that, he doesn't really rap anymore, but he had a line that said, they say time heals, tell that to bitter old men, right? Time heals is not real.
Very true,
It doesn't. It just gets buried and it festers inside and it'll come out eventually.
Yeah.
Right? So make the best out of this life. I know we're talking about parenting, but this is for everything.
For everything.
It's for everything, man. Like, work on yourself. Yeah. So there's my answer. Work on yourself so that you can be the best parent for your kids, Yeah,
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah. And patience and grace and all those stuff too, right? But
that's huge. Yeah, I like that, Miguel. That's very good.
I don't look. Sorry, man. Look, one more thing. I don't want to be like. I don't want core memories of my kids to be negative. Oh yeah, my dad. I remember that one time that he flipped out on me and he cursed and he like, they're not gonna. This doesn't go away. They're gonna remember that. They're gonna remember that moment. Despite all the amazing moments and vacations and awesome things you did for them too, they're gonna remember that time. That one time that you blasted them the entire car ride home for whatever it was. Man, oof.
I have a question for you, Miguel. Yeah. So we had lunch the other day with like a kind of similar personality, like a hustler type guy, and he was kind of explaining the same things with his kids. Like, do you think do you think it just comes from a place of sometimes like you want the best for them and you want them to be the best self they can, and that's why you can be sometimes like hard on your kids, and because you want them to go further than you could go, and you want to really just get the best out of them. And what he was saying is sometimes that kind of worked in reverse for him, and he was a little bit less soft, and he's starting to learn to become a little bit softer. And I was just trying to apply it to Jonah, who my son. I'm like, how am I going to be with him? Because I've told myself, I'm going to really push him to be the best he can be. And I was like, oh wait, seems like this person right here was doing that same thing, and it kind of worked in reverse for them. Do you think this is something that, when you were saying, you were getting upset at them because they maybe had bad grades, does this resonate or totally different?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't want to be too hard on ourselves either, right? Because it does come from a good place, right? You do want them to be the best you can be. Yeah. The reason I said to work on yourself intentionally, is because if you're not in a good place, then those intentions that you have will come out the wrong way, So even though it's a good place, even though you want them to do well and all that stuff, that's, if you don't have the tools or the right, you don't have the right skill sets or just the tools to deliver that message, then it could come from a bad place of experience that you have on your own, you know? So like, but 1000%, right? Like I know the potential that my kids have, you know what I mean? In all things, you know, in sports, you know, I know that they're very talented and they're really good at basketball. And now Leandro's like really doing well at track, kind of just came, you know, naturally since last year. And so, yeah, you want to push them, right? But, you know, are you pushing them? Like, why are you pushing them? You know, like all that stuff. How are you pushing them? Are you leading through fear or are you leading through love? You know, what is all that stuff, right? So I'm just saying, get all that stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure that you're on a journey of self improvement and healing and all that stuff as you do this. So that you don't cause damage, so that you don't be the one that pushes them away. You've heard stats of, you know, why kids quit sports is because of their parent, all that stuff, right? Like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
And not for sports, just in anything.
I just want to go a little deeper because we've had some great conversations over the years before when we, you know, used to be in touch a lot more and recently too. Like, the things we're talking about are amazing in theory, but it comes from somewhere. Something inside, you know, and we've talked about faith. We share the same faith.
Yeah.
You can touch a little bit on that, like the role of faith in your life and how it's transformed your heart and the things and the experiences that you've been through and being in relationship with God. And now as a father and talking about these things with that sort of intel and experience on those things. What role has that played within that experience?
Faith and my relationship with God. Listen, man. Some of the things I've been through in as an entrepreneur and in business, especially in my line of business, especially in entertainment, like it has people ask me like Miguel, how are you not doing this, and this? Or how are you still talking to that person? Or how are you still like, it's everything, bro. It is everything.
Yeah.
It is everything. And as you said, how it has transformed my heart, it's that. It is truly a transformation of the heart.
Come on.
Because I could tell you stories, man. I could tell you stories of like, people who have intentionally attacked me, people that just this a couple months ago, someone paid a massive platform, like a Six Buzz type platform, slandered my name, put my picture up, made a whole lie about me that was completely false and put it up online.
Jeez.
And I was woken up to it by and everyone, oh my God, what is this? What is this? What is this?
Wow.
And I, with all honesty,
It's in those moments, eh?
yeah,
The raw experience with God.
but like, and it was dealt with, and man, the people rallied around me and flooded the comments like, this is such a lie, all this stuff, and some real key players in the industry, in the music industry, reached out to the platform and said, take this down now. And it took it down immediately. So it was dealt with quick and swift and all that stuff. But in all honesty, like, this is, I wish someone could like cut open my chest and see my heart and or put a lie detector on me. I love the guy. Like, I actually love the guy. I know who did it. I have nothing. There's no malice in my heart towards him. I actually feel bad for them that they would have to do that, you know? And I'm being like completely honest. Like, the ones who are close to me are like, yo, how do you still, I've seen him. I talked to him. How are you? I'm like, cause I'm good, man. I'm good.
Does he know you know?
Yeah.
Oh, he knows you know.
Yeah. And that's just one example. I've had partners burn me in business. It's man, and I genuinely, listen, it doesn't mean I'm going to be your best friend and we're going to, get back into business with you or all that. No, right? But like, I'm completely forgiven them. I'm perfectly fine. It's everything, man. It is everything. And some of this stuff isn't, and I've had intentional attacks, man. Like these are intentional attacks. They weren't mistakes. These are intentional,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and put me in a bad space, stressful situations, large sums of money that I had to come up with because they didn't uphold, like just bad, like crazy stuff, man, crazy stuff, But I feel bad. I genuinely feel bad for the other people because it's like, I know I'm good, man. I know I have this thing. I have this thing where I just know that I'm taken care of, man. I know that God's got me. I know God's got me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is kind of on the same topic, but when I got my agent for acting, and I started acting, I was one of the first guys in our group that started acting, and then a bunch of others. It was cool because when you start something, people sometimes you wake up other people too, which is another cool byproduct and fruit of being an entrepreneur, right? You inspire others. And so I remember this was one good friend of ours, Phil. He was like, "Man, I've always wanted to do acting. I see you're acting." And he's like, so I'm like, "Okay, take some courses, get familiar. Don't just do it to do it. Like, be serious, whatever." So he did. And then he goes, "Can you hook me up with your agent?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So I called my agent. I go, "Send me your head." I go, "Here's what you got to do. Get some professional headshots." He did everything he needed to do. He sent me his headshots. I'm like, "Perfect. You're ready to go." "Hi, agent. Here's my guy. He needs an agent." She goes, "Miguel, you realize like this is your competition. He's about the same height as you, same size. You guys will be going out for the same roles if I accept him on the roster." I'm like, "So?" And she's like, I go, "Listen, what's mine is mine. What's his is his. There's enough sun to shine on me and him. I'm not threatened by him. I'm good." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why did I tell that story? Is because I have that mentality and that heart that's rooted in faith, that I know that God's got me no matter what. Through all these things, I'm good. So long answer, in short, it's everything, bro.
Love that.
I don't know where I'd be.
Yo,
And I'm not saying that in a cliche way, like, I genuinely, man, I don't know, like the things that I've gone through, the things that have been done to me, I don't know if I would have, I don't know where I'd be. Yeah.
That's good, man. Thanks for sharing that. I wish that we had another hour.
Yeah, we
but
have
to
a
wrap
lot of
up.
questions still.
Yeah, we have to wrap up because
That was
Part two.
great, man.
Part
yeah,
two.
we got part 2, man.
We have to
Part
do
two
part
for sure.
2.
Okay, so can I say one last thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to give you guys your flowers. So I'm big on giving people their flowers. So I joined Resilience Durham, but I've been watching your story. I've been watching your journey from the time you were U of T. You started there, right?
Yeah.
Downtown.
Yeah.
On the outdoor setting up, right?
Yeah, it was at Monarch Park, but
Monarch Park.
right after U of T, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've watched your journey. Were you there from the beginning too?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know you. That's why. Right?
Yeah,
I didn't know I didn't know who you were.
I think we actually met once. I think.
Oh, did we?
Long
At Vision,
time ago.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
But
At Vision, probably.
You came?
I
My
don't know if
sister's
you were
church,
there,
with
but there
Jules.
was all that group was probably
Okay.
there. Yeah.
All right, cool.
But quick, like a 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I've watched your journey. I've watched your journey from, I guess, what you said, Monarch Park. Should we pause?
Yeah. No, keep going.
Okay. What was I saying again? Monarch Park. Okay. Yeah. So I joined Resilience Durham this year, and but I've watched your journey. I've watched your journey from those days, and what you guys are doing is amazing. The community that you're. Let me say this: you didn't just start a gym. Anyone could start a gym. You didn't start a gym. You've created a movement, and you started a community. You've built a community, and that's what's special about resilience: is the community that you've created, and your approach and how you do it is very special. So, the couple things I wanted to say is, one, I've watched your journey and I've always wanted to be a part of it, but it was just far distance. So as soon as I found out you launched in Durham, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, I'm in. I've wanted to be a part of this community for so long. I didn't say I want to join this gym for so long. I said I want to be part of this community. So hold that, keep that, because that's important. It's not a gym. You've created a culture and a community. And here's the 4 C's. Shout out my boy AJ. Consistent content creates community. So whether that's content or culture, whatever, just be consistent with it, because the community that you've created is special. And it comes from the head down. Everyone that's part of this community that I've met, they have your aura, they have your vibe, they have your energy. And everyone has on their own journey. Like you said, you got to coach people different, right? If I didn't stay in my lane and I compared myself to others, I'd probably, I don't know if I would last at resilience, because I'm seeing women half my size deadlifting. Like, I'm like, wait a second, hold on a second here. And when we do the runs and they're like blowing by me, it can hurt a man's pride, right? But I know where the journey I'm on, I know where I'm at, I know, and I'm just going slowly. But there's little things that you guys do and say that that are so special. And I remember one time we were training and you just came up to me, Andrew, and you just said something like, you said, just go to 20, just go to 20. Like I was going to stop at 12. Right. And you just that one word, it made me like, know that there's a coach out there who believes in me. Like, you've just created an amazing community. So I wanted to give you your flowers. Like, I know you just said it earlier that there's issues and there's bumps in the road and all that stuff, but don't stop. You guys are entrepreneurs. You're crushing it. And the community that you've created is special. And everyone knows that. And I'm just telling you, it's only a matter of time. This thing is going to blow. How F45 and all these things, how there's so many of them, right? This thing has that potential.
Thanks, man.
So like keep going, man. Keep going, because you guys are crushing it. So
Appreciate
take
that.
your flowers. Boom.
Thank you.
Receive
man.
it.
That means a lot. Thank you.
yeah.
That means
Love
a lot.
you, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for coming.
We're gonna have to have a part 2.
Anytime, man. I'm
We
down.
got to do it again.
Down.
Maybe we can fly Anthony in.
Yeah.
Get my sister on here and Anthony.
He comes
Yeah,
every now and
yeah.
then.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, we'll get him. He's good.
Appreciate you, man. Love you. Thank
too,
you
man.
for just being here,
Yeah,
sharing
yeah.
all the amazing things that you did.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
love you, man.
Love you too,
And your
man.
family. We love you guys. Appreciate it.